please, ladies and gentlemen, go to your homepage on Seesaw, click on that activities to refresh your feed, and you will see an activity entitled Character Traits and Motivations. Character Traits and Motivations, okay? You will see that there are some slides 1 through 4. That's probably what we're going to have time for today. And then it says stop and wait. We're probably not going to get to the part after the stop and wait. And that's okay. We'll just roll it over to Wednesday when we're done with iRead. Okay? All right, go ahead and click on that add response, please. All right. On slide 1, you will see today's learning targets. There are some nice arrows pointing right to them. You have 2 goals today. Your first goal is to describe character traits by their, describe characters by their traits with their motivations, feelings, and using text evidence, okay? You guys have remembered fast when we look at what a character feels, what actions they take, what they say, and what they think, we are able to quickly identify words that can best describe those characters, okay? So think FAST is an acronym for feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts. Those are the 4 clues that we can highlight in a text to tell us how a character's feeling. Your second goal is new to you. We have not yet done this goal. Explain how characters' actions contribute to the plot using details from the text, okay? So looking at characters' traits and how does that affect the story or change the story, okay? An example would be if we are looking at Spider-Man and there is a villain that is coming to battle Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is brave and strong and has superpowers, we don't expect him to go, oh no, mommy, right? That would be goofy, okay? Because we know that Spider-Man has the ability to fight. He's strong, he's got powers, he's brave, okay? So we would expect Spider-Man to engage the villain. That is how his character traits affect the plot. If Spider-Man was a scaredy cat, that would change the text. Okay, it would change what we would expect from him. So our characters' traits are going to change the story, and they're going to help us predict what's going to happen in a story. Okay? All right, I'd like for you to go ahead and move on to slide 2, please. Remember that character traits are can be positive or negative. Okay? So we have a list of positive traits here. We have a list of negative traits here. Think about these traits as you listen to this description.
Review before continuing. Character traits. The characters in fables are often animals that talk or act like humans. Usually fables have only 2 or 3 characters. Many times these characters have opposite traits, which are important to understanding the moral of the story. Good readers can infer a character's traits by thinking about what a character says, does, or thinks.
Okay, so again, we're thinking about what a character does, what a character says, what a character thinks, and what a character feels. Okay. Alrighty, let's go on to slide 3 here. We have a fable that we are going to read, and then you will have some time for a partner activity today. Okay. Now, a fable is a story that you guys should be familiar with because you studied fables in 2nd grade. But in case you have forgotten, fables have animal characters. Fables are very short and they teach you a lesson. Okay, and I don't mean they teach you like what is 3 plus 3. They're going to teach you something about life, like it's important to work hard, or you should be kind to your friends, or you should not tell lies. Okay, so they're going to teach a lesson. So they have animals, they're very short, and they teach a lesson. Okay, the character that we're going to look at today is the ant and the grasshopper. As we're reading this text, I want you to think about 2 things. What character traits would best describe the grasshopper? And what character traits would best describe the ant? Okay, so think about the grasshopper. How would you describe him? Think about the ant and how would you describe him? Go ahead and move on to slide 4 and get your highlighter ready. Choose a color that you like. I am going to read this text to you, and I would like for you to highlight evidence of the character traits for the grasshopper and the ant. Okay? Some of my students like to use 2 different colors, like perhaps you'll use brown for the ant and you might use green for the grasshopper. I think that's a great strategy. So highlight some feelings, actions, sayings, or thoughts of the ant and the grasshopper and their character traits. Are there questions about what you are going to do before we begin? Terrence?
It wasn't about that, but it was about reading.
Okay.
So, what did you say about Spider-Man?
I was saying Spider-Man's character traits are the reason that we can predict what he's going to do. So when we look at characters, we don't expect Spider-Man to go run and cry and hide in the corner because he's not done that in the past. So we can use that to figure out what's going to happen in the text. Any other questions about what you're going to do with your highlighting? All righty. John, come back to the screen, please. All right, here you go. Highlighters ready. One sunny day, Ant was hard at work. Ooh, look, I already see that Ant was a hard worker. Gathering food and bringing it back to his home to be stored away for winter. While taking a brief rest from carrying an acorn, he heard the most beautiful noise. Looking around, Ant spotted Grasshopper leaning against a rock and playing his violin. Ooh, so he can play music. Grasshopper is leaning against a rock and playing violin. Seems like a good thing. Let's see if it is. Ant approached him and complimented him. Oh, Ant is so kind. He gives compliments to people. My, you make some fine music with your instrument. Why, thank you, replied Grasshopper with pride. Come join me. We could have fun and dance and enjoy these beautiful days together. Wow, so Grasshopper likes to kind of play around. So he's dancing, he's playing music, he's inviting people to come party with him. So he's kind of playful. Let's continue going. Though the offer sounded tempting, Ant replied, I can't. I'm busy storing up food for the winter. And with a warning, Ant added, I suggest you do the same, for winter is just around the corner. So he's giving a warning to the grasshopper as well. Not too thrilled about the idea of working, Grasshopper replied, Oh, Ant, can't you see? There is plenty to eat in these fields, and winter is far from a splendid day like today. So look at that, not too thrilled about the idea of working. So not only does Grasshopper play around, it seems like he plays too much because he's just playing and goofing around here when he should be working. He doesn't like the idea of working. Okay. All right, so I've shown you some examples. We're going to finish the story on slide 5. I'm not going to highlight slide 5. I want you to practice highlighting. Okay. So look for the feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts of these characters, and then highlight proof of their character traits. Okay. All righty. We ready for slide 5? Okay, here we go. Get your highlighters ready. The season will change before you know it, cautioned Ant. And he picked up his acorn and trudged his way home with the load. Soon the weather turned cold and Grasshopper woke to find the field that was once plentiful with food buried under a blanket of snow. No matter how hard he tried, he was unable to dig down deep enough to reach it. Oh, what will I do now? Cried Grasshopper in despair. That's a good word. And it was then that Grasshopper remembered the friend he had met in the, gotta move my tool there, I can't see, in the peak of summer. So off to Ant's house he went in hopes of finding food and shelter. I'm going to pause there. If you see some character trait clues that you'd like to highlight, go ahead and do so. We're going to pause right here and then we'll finish up the end of the story. Let's continue on. Again, highlighting clues. When Ant answered the door, he found a very cold and hungry grasshopper. Grasshopper pleaded, "Oh, Ant, please let me in and share your warm home and good food." Sadly, Ant replied, "I've only stored up enough food for my family and me. Sorry, friend, but I warned you of this day. I wish you had heeded my warning." And then Ant closed the door. Okay. Go ahead and highlight some character trait evidence there as well. For Ant and Grasshopper, what did they say? What did they do? What did they think? Okay. On slide 6, you are going to complete this with a partner. With a partner, it says, how would you best describe Ant and Grasshopper in the story? Use the traits listed above or think of some other traits that best describe these characters. Use evidence from the story to support your thinking. So slide 6, you're getting ready to complete with a partner in breakout rooms. While I was reading, you were highlighting evidence from your story to help you with this activity. Okay? Are there questions before I send you into work about what you are going to do? Any questions before I send you into work? Okay, here come your invites. You're going to complete slide 6. Here you go. Okay, you were asked with your partner to come up with 2 traits with evidence for Ant and 2 traits with evidence for Grasshopper. Who would like to share some traits and evidence that they came up with? Give me one for either Ant or Grasshopper. Terrence, would you like to focus on Ant or Grasshopper?
Ant.
Okay, and what trait did you and your partners come up with?
So Ant was trying to help Grasshopper.
So he is helpful. And what evidence do you have of that?
Because on slide, like throughout the slides, he was trying to help Grasshopper store food, but he didn't listen to him. And another thing about Ant is he thinks ahead.
He thinks ahead. He's a planner. Yes. Okay, so he's helpful. He kept trying to help Grasshopper store food and reminding him that he needed to do that. So helpful is a great word to describe Ant. Other character or trait, William. Who are you focusing on, William?
Ant.
Ant. And give me a trait for Ant.
He won't change his mind. He won't change his mind because the evidence that we found.
Oh, Camille, I see what you're saying. He froze out. He won't change his mind. Hold on, William. If you can hear me, we can't hear you. So when someone doesn't change their mind, we call that determined. Okay, he is determined. Camille, help us out. Why did you and William say he was determined? Well, he's frozen out. He wouldn't change his mind about what?
He wouldn't change his mind about not getting food.
Okay, so he worked hard and kept getting food for winter. Goodness, there we go. So yes, determined. I think William's computer might have died. He'll be back on in a moment. So determined, he worked hard and he kept getting food for winter. He was not going to give up. He was going to keep trying. Leah.
So he's kind of not caring about him. The reason why he's not caring about him because he's just going lazy and stuff. And no, I'm talking about the grasshopper.
Oh, okay. What is he not caring about?
He's not caring about himself. He's just playing on the violin, and then he's not getting food for him when the winter is coming.
Perfect. I think I heard you say lazy, like he's not caring about what's going on. So lazy. He is not working. He was playing around and he was not getting food. Okay. So he was like, oh no, I don't have to work. I'm going to be fine. It's all going to be okay. Lazy is a word to describe grasshopper. We need another character trait to describe grasshopper. Who'd like to share one? Another character trait. Volunteer, or I'm going to pick. Dun, dun, dun. Steve Rogers, you've been selected. What other word can describe grasshopper?
Careless.
Careless? Is that what you said, careless?
Yeah.
Careless. How do you know he's careless?
Winter was coming and he didn't give a crap about getting food.
Winter was coming and he did not care. He even said, oh, no, I'll be fine. It'll be okay. So winter was coming. He did not care. Careless is a great word to describe grasshopper. You do not have to have these exact same words. These were just some for our conversation. If you and your partner came up with other words, with other evidence, more power to you. Proud of you. Okay. Now, you will notice that has brought us to our stop sign. Okay. We are not going to have time to complete the rest of these. We will complete the rest of these on Wednesday after our iRead test. So tomorrow we'll test, so we won't have these seesaw assignments. Wednesday we'll be back to virtual, okay? But you do still have some work to do. What you are going to do is click on these videos during your independent time to watch. This one is a video of what we just read about. The next one, The Three Little Pigs, is a version of the story that we are going to use for our work on Wednesday, okay? So I'd like for you to watch both of these videos. And then when you are done, you can click on the orange check mark to turn in your draft, not your green. There's nothing to do, your draft, okay? So you're going to watch both of these videos and then click that orange check mark to save your work as a draft, okay? All righty.